one, go!
Welcome to the Set Count, your source for tournament results, storylines, and analytics set to the tune of your speakers. I'm your host, Vayseth, and I have been absolutely obsessed with Pokemon Go for about 2 weeks. I have nearly completed my Pokedex and gained about 10 levels in like 2 weeks. It's insane.
People still play that game?
You're pretty late.
Yeah, dude, you're like... It's been a while since that game was relevant.
Well, no, the game's still super relevant. Don't talk shit about that game. But it's actually kind of cool. I'm using it in like kind of like a workout routine. I'm walking around to hatch eggs and or candy to try and lose some weight, getting me outside. And it's been great. Like, I've never enjoyed like getting outside and exercising and like just kind of to get my local area, because the most active area in my area is the city hall / park right across the street from it. It has a whole bunch of Pokestops. Like, you can make a couple loops and hatch a whole bunch of eggs, and it's just been kind of like my life for the past couple weeks, and it's been pretty fun. So, Suar, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm back. It was really funny listening to this podcast without me on it because it sounded like I died or something. You guys are like talking in like such a passive voice about me, so it was really funny. Like, as Suar would say, and I was just gone for 1 week. But
we'll put you in the set count obituary.
Yeah,
basically. But no, I'm great. I was like super stressed last week because I was studying for an entrance exam for grad school and I passed it, so everything's amazing now. And then
congrats.
Thanks. No, it was like seriously, like if I would have failed, then I had to have taken it again. And usually no one passes it the first time, so let's go.
Dude, I know all about that stuff. I had to take Japanese proficiency exams and I still have yet to pass one.
Damn. Well, yeah. I mean, this was basically just certification to teach science in secondary school all over the country. So I have that now, so that's fun. But yeah, no, it was just like memorizing like 500 flashcards because it was general science. So anything from like the atom all the way to like what are the layers of the atmosphere. So it was so jarring. But we're back now. PG Stats is gearing up with some really fun stuff. We just... Giant just basically finished the database component, and we've been able to see some really crazy stuff. So, well, you can talk about that more later, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, we're about to go into big detail about that pretty soon, so...
Yeah, so it'll be fun, but everything's been good.
Sage, how you doing, buddy? Busy as always?
Dude, super busy. So, I'm actually working with Smash and Splash, like, very, very directly. I'm the lead director for the entire production of the whole event. So I have Melee, Smash 4, 64, PM, and Splatoon that I'm worrying about right now. And we're doing a bunch of new things for all of them, so that's pretty exciting. And I have like 5 different streamers to wrangle in.
You're doing Splatoon 1?
Yes, this is one of the last Splatoon events.
Wow.
So that part I'm like overseeing a little bit, but it's not like... There's another organization, Endgame TV, I believe is what it's called, that's handling most of that. So my main focus is actually Melee for this event, with Smash 4 as like my secondary thing.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I think Splatoon would be kind of hard to like broadcast.
They have a pretty decent spectator mode. And the spectator mode that they're coming out with for Splatoon 2 is like super geared towards esports.
Esports.
Dude, it's like super heavy and how like much they're pushing.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of surprised when you said you were doing Splatoon, and I was like, wait, did that come out already? Because I need to make up like $500 out of nowhere to get a Switch then. So that game is awesome, and I'm like super excited for the future of it.
Dude, I love Splatoon. Like, the only reason I didn't play more of the first one was because I didn't like playing on a gamepad. It just felt weird playing a shooter that way. Like,
Yeah,
I'm used to PC. Yeah, and now I can use a Pro controller, or I can use I even like the Switch.
The Joy-Cons?
Joy-Cons on their little like attachment controller.
The Joy-Cons?
Yeah, but like on their controller piece. Like, I like that controller a lot.
We're also getting Mario Kart 8 this weekend. Let's go.
Is it this weekend, or is it already out?
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's the 28th.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, and they also announced that they're doing a tournament series for it where you have battle mode and racing mode as like separate things, and I'm extremely excited to see like how that works out, because if so, like that would be pretty super easy to incorporate into events once we have more Switches out in the open.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I mean, you can even make it like, if you can do LAN style or just like local area connection stuff, like it'd be awesome, because like back in like 3DS days, it was really easy to run a tournament because everybody just came and just brought their 3DS and sat wherever to play their matches. It's like you could do this.
Yeah, we did that at Youmacon with Pokemon and stuff too, and the original Smash for 3DS before the Wii U came out.
Yeah, so like if you could just have a Mario Kart side bracket just for fun and like bring your Switch and you can join, that's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely want to bring that up when we talk about Dreamhack this weekend, because I think they've actually come up with an idea for that. But before we get into the other games that we want to talk about and everything else that we're talking about today, let's get back to Smash 4 and run the numbers.
It's time for the numbers.
So the numbers, like you guys say, I always say it.
You literally every single time. So the numbers. 100%. I'm pretty sure I can go back.
How do you
So the
introduce
numbers.
tournament results in a captivating way?
You
don't know.
pulled it off perfectly. I'm captivated. Please continue.
This week, for the weekend of April 23rd, we had 630 people, or just about, compete all over the world, starting with the downbeat April Monthly in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with 8-Bit Man from Florida actually taking it with his Rob, over 137 people. He was actually arranged to be there along with Dath, his fellow Florida brethren and PGR member, and best Robin in the world, so that was probably a really exciting tournament to watch them probably duke it out with the local Midwesterners. And then we also had NorCal's Smash 4 Arcadian Runback in Santa Clara, California. 136 people at an Arcadian. We had a person win with a tag that's literally a smiley face with the circumflex accent as the nose. So they played Mewtwo. That's all we know. But congratulations to them to winning an Arcadian, because that's hype. Then Karisuma 13 in Abu, Japan, with Earth winning over 107 people with his Corrin and Pit combination. Straying a little bit away from the honesty of Pit to the sacrilege of Corrin, but
What is wrong with you? That character's awesome.
sure, but just silly. So he's so pure with Pit, just to be soiled with Corrin is just, that's sad. But you gotta win. You gotta win. But we got the come up in Toronto with over 150 people, won by Mistakes, Bayonetta, and Zero Suit combination. So congratulations to Mistake. Icarus 3 in Bologna, Italy, with over 100 people as well, with Quick winning with his Zero Suit Samus. So 2 Zero Suit Samus this weekend, making a debut in the winner's circle. Again, over 630 people competed this weekend. Congratulations to all of them, and to many more good games.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually one of the more active over 100 tournament weekends we've had in a while, probably since January, if I remember correctly. So, good stuff to everybody around the world.
Yeah. We can kind of move into the show. I don't know if you saw this, it started as like a lunch break tweet, but it turned into an article on PvP Live, which, I mean, that just, I guess, speaks for itself. But did you see that tweet I made about the poverty line?
Yeah,
in
I did.
Smash?
Yeah, I didn't know it became a PvP article, but that's pretty interesting.
It is. Only because, it's just so... Someone linked me hey, your tweet got made into an article. I was like, dead ass. But basically, for anyone who didn't or doesn't follow me, I made a tweet basically reflecting on the fact that the earnings of the top 12 smashers since the time the game has been released is not as high as you'd think it'd be. In fact, it's so low that if you take after Zero, pretty much, because Zero's won over $100,000 in prize money, if you take all those people and take their earnings and basically split them in half, almost all of them are below poverty line in the United States, which is around 14,000, depending on heads of household
A year, and those numbers don't reflect taxes or anything. That just reflects tournament payouts.
Literally gross income. Yeah, just what they got. So we had Zero with 100,000. Then I'm just rounding up to the nearest 1,000, but Zero with 106,000. Nairo, then the second highest earning smasher at 60,000. So 100 to 60, and then Allies right around there with 60 as well. Then DeBuzz drops a little to 40. Then Mr. R at 30. MK Leo at 20.
Wait. Is that 40 including Civil War where he got like almost 15?
Maybe, but even if it was, then you can just chalk him up to 55, and that doesn't really change a whole lot for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, he's still like under 30,000 earned a year.
No, the reason why I would say is because like the most he's ever made is at Civil War, and if that 40 includes that, that's insane because that just happened and he's been playing for 3 years.
I would have. Well, I don't know. I don't know what date it was updated. It's updated like pretty regularly each month. But let's just say it did or whatever. If it didn't, he's at 55. So
There you go.
otherwise 40. Then Mr. R at 29. MKLeo at 20. Mewtwo King at 18. What the? Why does Mewtwo King have money in this game? But whatever. It drags on and on up until ESAM at 12 with at 12th place. I mean. With $14,000. And so this is since the beginning of the game. So ESAM has had 14,000 shekels to rub together since the beginning of the game. And of course, since 2.5 years ago, that money obviously has been like put towards something or spent or whatever, maybe saved. Who knows?
I mean, if you tax it too, you're going to see like, I don't know, maybe 12,000.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bet a lot of this stuff wasn't taxed except for like the super big winnings like Civil War. But
Right.
yeah, you take this, right, and you divide it by 2 for the years, since they've won it, and it's like poverty line or under. Like ESAM would have only 7,000 a year. So these numbers are like, okay, then people are like, oh, but they're streaming and their revenue from the sponsors, and okay, well, the only notable YouTubers in this list are Zero Nairo and ESAM. That's it. The only notable social media personalities are Anti, Mewtwo King, ESAM, Abadango, Ally, Nairo, and Zero as well. I'm talking notable like driving impressions, like interactions by the millions each month. Not that they have 30,000 followers, because Mr. R, apart from his serial debacle getting his trending name on Twitter, like, isn't too active and kind of avoids social media to the degree that Anti and ESAM love to engage in it. That's kind of like his critiques as like a top player, is like he doesn't really like that sort of stuff. Understandably so, but it's just not his cup of tea.
Well, no, I think he just doesn't want to be like some role, because actually I think he's very active on social media. In fact, when we were together in August for Umebura SAT, he was arguing with everybody because they were like, why do you respond to all these like random people just trying to troll you? And he was just like, you have to be active. That's how you keep up a social media following. And they went into this big debate there. So I think he's active. I just don't think he likes pretending to be somebody he's not, and everybody out there trying to be like, yo, this is who we need you to be. We need villains and heroes for this to make a storyline. And he was very anti that.
Yeah, what I mean, okay, so rephrasing it, he doesn't have an active role in the Smash social media circle apart from the matchup discussions that he engages with his matchup charts, which always bring a ton of discussion. But in the realm of Anti and ESAM, people who instigate on the daily practically,
That's
Mr.
true.
R falls short.
I think Dark
But
Wizzy has
again,
more
that
of
doesn't
a...
make you money. Twitter doesn't make you money that way.
Right.
So, like, going back and talking of this list, people are like, well, the content creators and the money they get from their streaming and YouTubing. Well, we went over who the YouTubers were, but the only Twitch streamers in this list that make anything are Nairo.
DeBuzz does okay. He's got a few.
No. But, like, Nairo then puts all that on YouTube again for even more views. Like, all his views from his VODs go into the thousands deep. DeBuzz doesn't have that. So, of these 12, Nairo, and even then, Nairo, as we know, like, he's the most incredible, most prolific streamer that we have for Smash 4. But then you put him next to Mango, and it's, like, dwarfed. And then you just put Mango next to any fucking dude from CSGO, and then that's dwarfed. So, again, like, no one, and then that's just Nairo. So that's one person out of these 12, and that's 12 people out of, like, thousands of Smashers. So it's like, this is, like, oh my god, this is poverty. Like, the article was basically talking about how don't quit your day job to play Smash anytime soon. And it's like, yeah, don't. Like, you can't make money by playing this game at the current moment, let alone all the people that go into event organization, which is kind of what we're going to talk about today. And Vayseth has sort of passed on the host baton to talking about a little bit of Smash economics. So how big do you guys think, we kind of discussed this number, but for the I guess, shock and awe, how many people do you think competed since January 2017 until now in all the PGR sanctioned events? Like, how many would you say, like, unique entrants?
So we'll give everybody at home a moment to put a number in their head. But, the number of unique entrants. And while we're letting you think about that answer, you can go on sites like socialblade.com, and you can actually look to see what everybody makes off of YouTube and Twitch and stuff. It's very public information. Like, I just pulled up I'm Esam on YouTube, and it says that he has a B- YouTube account, and he makes about $59 to $940 a month.
Wait, 59 to 940?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not a
So,
lot.
no, but the range, you're saying 59 to 940.
Right, and Nairo, for example, makes $101 all the way up to 1.6K a month.
Okay, and that even then goes to underscore the fact of how unreliable and how strenuous that is to like pump out content to keep that up. Like, that's insane. Like, you can have a bad month and you get $90, or you can have a good month and get like $1,000. Like,
Yeah. I mean, if even for Unrivaled tournaments, if we lull in like a month and we don't have a major or something like that, there's been times when we like I check my bank account and it's like YouTube sent me $100. Like, cool, YouTube, really appreciate that one.
yeah, but again, that's like after getting your name out there, after like winning a major, after having like a social branding, and even these guys are like staying afloat, like hardly even staying afloat. I mean, that's not money you can feed a family with. Like, what the, like, yeah. Jesus.
Let's jump it back though to the number of unique players, and like, had I not already seen the number that we found, I would have guessed around 10K personally.
Okay, so Sage says that 10,000 Smashers have competed since January of this year until today in the PGR sanctioned events. So we're talking the Dreamlands, the Genesis.
Just PGR sanctioned events. Oh, I would have gone under that then.
Yeah.
I actually would have put that pretty low, and I would have guessed like 2,500 then.
Okay, 2,500. So what would you say, looking at all the, these are like basically like the upper tier active competitive smashers that would travel to events, smashers that take off work to go to events. How many would you say, Vayseth?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you mean anything that's C tier all the way up through S tier?
Anything that's PGR sanctioned, yeah. C tier all the way up to S.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because like the more you say it, the more your answer makes sense. But I would have probably done under 10K as well, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of, if he's saying 2.5, I'll say 7.5.
Okay, so the number so far, because we've been able to comb the database to give us like all the people that have registered, and of course there's overlap. Zero's attended like all these tournaments, but he still counts as one, right? So the number is just under 5,000. It's around like 4,700, give or take, because there's some like challenge discrepancies with like the Japan tournaments. But these are tournaments in Japan, tournaments in Europe, tournaments in North America, and it's kind of like low, but it's also sort of healthy, some people say. I've talked to different people about it, but for an active competitive scene, 5,000 people offline is, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, when you put it into perspective, like, those people are attending events more and more, but are they coming together at the same time? Like, have we ever seen a 5,000 person Smash Major? And the answer is no.
In fact, actually, Evo getting just under half of those is actually way more impressive knowing that.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's really, and I wish we can sort of go back and like track how many we've had ever, but we're going to do it for the rest of this year and see if that number goes above 5,000. I mean, I would love to see like the coveted Switch release and see that number go to like 15,000. Like, that would be ridiculous, but
that'd be crazy.
That's what we're currently operating with. It kind of makes sense. The 2GGC events have not broken 1,000 people, any of them. The only one coming close to it is Civil War, right, with under 800. Everything else has been 400 or 500.
Yeah. But like when you say when you state it in like fractions and you go 2GGC Civil War almost pulled 1/5 of the entire Smash community, like when you say it that way, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, there's got to be more because our top players have how many tens of thousands of followers? Like the top 5 have over 30K. So out of that 30K,
Oh yeah,
we
this
can
isn't to say
assume.
that like the community is 5,000 people strong. It
No,
just
just
means that
the
the
active,
active.
yeah.
Yeah, because as Ally mentioned in the buzz and the ensuing like discussion that this tweet brought about that I made about the Smash poverty line. Or no, sorry, this is a different tweet altogether. I got my tweets mixed up. Um, when people consider like these high stakes events, like there's 80% of their local community that don't travel to these sort of things. So that number will probably like swell up, altogether, maybe into like I would say like the 7,000s, maybe eight.
Yeah, I mean, like, I could guess in Chicago, we probably have 200 to 300 players that just don't attend big tournaments at all.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's like maybe you're lucky because it's held, in your own town. But I think we've also had a nice little distribution set up where all the major regions have their respective major that pulls in those people who might not travel to a major, but might go to one to like meet, Hungry Box or
Well, like,
something,
even if you look
Like
at
Big House would take those people.
some of them, but like, let's say, like, for the Ignition Weekly, we've been averaging 70 a week. I'd say there's probably 30 to 40 of those guys who don't even attend the local Chicago monthlies. So, like,
Yeah, let alone
when you think of it,
Genesis or something.
yeah, when you think of
Yeah.
it that way, and like all these different scenes are gonna have, these chunks of people that just don't go to anything but their little, like, maybe 10-man weekly that they just go for fun, or even like their largest weekly that they just go to. Like, there's probably guys that go to MSM that never go to a Civil War or like a 2GGC type event.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I personally haven't gone to many, like it all depends on situation and all this stuff and what you're going to get out of it. Because if you look at it, like the PGR in a sense, or not even in a sense, but quite literally, 50 of the 5,000, that's the top 1% of all players.
Not everybody can be JJ Rockets, though.
JJ Rockets goes to everything.
Yeah, I was like,
Literally
not
everything.
not everybody can be JJ Rockets. There's a reason he gets articles written about him, because he literally goes to everything. And we're super deeply involved in the scene and like help the cogs behind the scenes, and we don't even go to everything. I mean, like, very recently since Frostbite, we've been talking about things that we've been doing like behind the scenes and watching on Twitch like everybody else. So even people who are super involved and try to make a living off of it, like us, like, that's that just goes to show you.
Dude, there was a week once where JJ didn't show up to a tournament for like 7 days straight in Chicago, and we all like were like, someone needs to get in contact with JJ. Like, he might be dead.
Yeah, I mean, this is the potential market for TOs, like 5,000 people, which is not like, okay, it's a lot of people for a video game offline, if you think about it. But obviously, we're not talking about league numbers, but that's an online game where 100 million people can just connect. We're talking about 5,000 people that would be willing to travel to your event. So if you think about the people around the country who host tournaments, teams like VGBC, Big Blue eSports, E2C in Midwest, 2GG obviously in SoCal, with people on staff like Bear and Vayseth and stuff like that. I mean, do you think that there might be a lack of TOs in tournaments, or too much at the moment? At least Vayseth, from your perspective. For these 5,000 people, do you think we should slow our load down a little bit, or keep on chugging along, putting $10,000 pop bonuses on a bi-weekly basis?
I was talking to Juggle Guy, Robin, who does Big House, and we talked about the future of Big House and all that stuff, and we have a lot of pretty frank conversations about this. And he used a line, especially when talking about compendiums, that you can't dip into the well forever. Like, the well will run dry eventually. And I think that's kind of where we're going. In 2015, when we were still booming and the game was still actively being patched and Zero Streak was still going on, like, we struck lightning there with the compendium. It did very well, and ever since then, everyone's done it. And, crowdfunding's gotten significantly harder to do ever since. And there's just not a lot of people out there, other than the people who do it really well, like Summit or whatever, who can take advantage of that. On the same side, it's getting harder and harder to keep people interested in the game, especially at the local level.
Yeah, I mean, that is just such a complicated subject, because not only does it take attracting these 5,000 individuals, or a portion of them, obviously, because if we look back to our most populated events, the EVOs, the CEOs, the Genesises, those have over 1,000. So that's pretty good. A fifth of the community, or close to half, at a single event is very impressive. And this is, these numbers are current from January until now. So obviously maybe last year there would have been more, but there's been a quite amount of events. And if you're not in these 5,000, then I'm afraid I don't think you can be relevant to the competitive scene personally, because we've taken events from Japan all the way to South Florida. So, this is pretty inclusive as of now. It's a good data size, over 40 tournaments. But yeah, like, what does it mean then to like host a successful tournament in these cases for these individuals? Because as a TO, like, you've seen what it means to put on a good event, but you'd also have seen what it means to pay for a good event. So like, can you talk a little bit about like what a good event means to you? Because it might be a double-edged sword in most cases.
Are you talking about me, Sage, or?
Well, I guess you can talk about it and then Sage can expand on it, because I think Sage can talk about how he has never seen a successful event in Smash 4.
Yeah.
I mean, being frank.
Yeah, I have a very negative attitude towards a lot of things in like when it comes to behind the scenes stuff. And not like, I'm not trying to be like a dick about it, but I definitely like, I hold very high standards to everybody that I work with.
Sage and I are very similar.
Yeah, Smash is definitely not at a standard that, well, I mean, without saying too much, it's not at a standard that really merits it any more than it currently has, in my opinion, only because there's a lot that needs to be done, and there's only so little being done at the moment. And that's only really by virtue of the fact that there's not too many people on the front lines that are with the right amount of talent doing that stuff. People like Sage, people like Vayseth. I mean, there's like, I don't know anyone else in the scene like Vayseth or anyone else in the scene like Sage.
Yeah, Vayseth, jump in, and I have a couple thought points as well that I'll get after you.
Oh, you'll go after me? Okay, well, Sage and I are very similar, which is why we work very well together, and we're both very cynical about a lot of things, because we know everybody we could do better, but we're just not. And I don't know, there's just a couple cultural things from like way back in the day that worked, and we're just not shaking this grassroots things. Like, everybody wants to be an esport, and we're like slowly but surely moving there. And don't get me wrong, this community and like as an esport and as it's evolving changes by the week. Like, every weekend something's different. Like, if it was the same that it used to be, announcing Frostbite at Big House 6 would have been enough for it to be like this huge mega tournament. But by the time Frostbite actually came around, a lot of the things that like were appealing about Frostbite were either done by other people or were just overshadowed by other things that were more relevant. Like, people have to plan and strike and market their events way faster than we ever had to do before. So
Wait, but before all that though, like, what would be a successful tournament for you back in the day compared to now? Because numbers aren't there, although some people might think they are.
So basically, for me, now that I've done 2 big houses, 2 Genesises, and I've run my entire tournament by myself from scratch, the thing that I want to see is the stream numbers way up. I think we're super low, especially when compared to our older brother in Melee. I really want to see more of that. Actual numbers of attendees in the main event don't bother me so much. I just kind of wish we had more people just in the venue in general. It looks better on camera, and I just want more people. Like, the whole goal is to get everybody into a room and play and have fun and play games. And I feel like there's this move towards entrant numbers, and that defines success. And to me, that really doesn't. I think the best part about Frostbite, as I said right after we finished, was the on-demand side events where we gave away chaos controllers and paid out, and we ran 40 freaking tournaments, and everyone had a great time at that event. Like, Pulse got a suite, and like we had everybody in there, partying till 2 a.m. every night, and like that was the kind of thing. Everybody came in from all over the place to the middle of winter in Michigan, and we just all played games and had fun. And honestly, like what Jebailey was saying about CEO, stream on one side, but everybody at the event had a great time. And honestly, that could be success another way, but it's really hard.
Well. Here's the issue, because okay, we go get together, have a good time, and kumbaya, and I meet this person from Ohio who plays a really cool character, and we have fun, and we become friends, and we're on Facebook sharing our 2-year, like whatever that time hop, right? Our 2-year time hop because we met at Big House 2 years ago, right? All that can happen, but how many more times do you think that can happen? Because what's a successful tournament in terms of monetary terms?
Well,
like,
before we
has
move
a
into
tournament
that,
done that?
yeah, I mean, before we move into that, I want to like make sure that Sage does everything before we move into the whole.
Well, I'm asking either. Yeah, I'm asking
Yeah.
either.
Well, like, so here's something interesting, and I don't know how many people know about this, but esports are ranked into tiers, right? Like, just for general sponsorship purposes and things like that. So tier 1 is if you have an annual prize pool of over $5 million, and there's only 4 games currently in it as of January 2017, which is the last time it was updated. That's League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Dota, and Hearthstone. Those are your tier 1 esports. Those are the easiest ones to get sponsors for. Those have infinite money as far in comparison to Smash. Tier 2, it's over $1 million in prize pools. That's Smite, Halo, Overwatch, StarCraft 2, Heroes of the Storm, Call of Duty, and World of Tanks. Again, something
Are you joking?
Yes.
World of Tanks is a tier 2 esport.
I'm yelling.
And here, like, something that you can notice about every single one of those games that's been tier 1 or tier 2 is, like, it has developer support.
Wow. Trigger.
100%, like, it does.
Trigger.
Here's tier 3. And this is where Smash lies. It's over $100,000 in an annual prize pool, and this combines Smash Wii U and Melee
Oh boy.
as one entity. So it's Rocket League, Super Smash Brothers, Vainglory, which if you don't know what that is, it's a MOBA that's released on mobile. Crossfire, which is like an ancient Steam game.
Which one?
Crossfire. Point Blank, which is a Korean first-person shooter that came out in 2008, and FIFA 17.
Angry Birds.
So, like, out of all of those,
Wait, Street Fighter isn't in that tier?
nope, it's not listed. It might be. I'm surprised it's not listed. This
I was
was on
gonna say,
January
with
2017.
Yeah, with Capcom Pro Tour, it should be at least tier 3.
I don't know. It also is categorized by, I think you have to hit 3 different things. I know it's monthly hours watched, annual prize pool, and there's one other thing that I forget exactly.
That's so weird. Street Fighter should surely be in there, but you know, whatever.
You would think, but whatever. So
Yeah,
those
we
are
have Melee
tiers
and
of
Smash
esports.
4. Yeah, we have Melee and Smash 4 combined together, so maybe not. Like that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a lot of hours watched that you're combining both things. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's something that, like, when you look at that, it's just like, geez. Like, when you put that in comparison, it's like Smash is nowhere in comparison to some of these other games.
Smash is a pea, and like League of Legends is like a watermelon.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Short of, I don't know anything about Point Blank and Crossfire besides that they exist as esports. I'm pretty sure they're like European and Asian respectively, like very heavy there. Every one of these games also has a unified, some sort of organization that handles almost everything related to that game's esports. Like, Smash is the only one that's managed to make it to tier 3 without that.
Everyone's so insane, dude.
Yeah, like we kind of like compete with each other instead. What if we all kumbaya and got together and like helped each other?
Even Gears of War, which is a tier 4 esport, has what's called the Coalition, which they have a couple members from the Coalition at every single event. The Coalition like plans every single event. They hire out to production companies, they hire out to TOs, but like they're responsible for Gears esports. Like Vainglory has the developers that do it. Smite has Hi-Rez. Obviously, Heroes of the Storm and Overwatch has Blizzard. Like these games do have other organizations that pop up, but like there is a central figurehead that is responsible, and like you're never gonna see somebody step on like Blizzard trying to run an event on top of them, but you're definitely gonna see like 2GG run an event at the same time that some random dude in like Florida is gonna run an event.
Yeah.
Not even that. Like we're gonna have people in Canada like 3 hours away running an event at the same time as Michigan's having an event, at the same time as Chicago's having an event. It's not. It's even more complicated than that even.
Yeah, but like, let's say you did if you wanted to put together something the size of Evo for just Smash, right? Like, who's going to do that? And then by the time you plan it and you regulate it, all of a sudden, like, somebody else announced their event that weekend. And you're just like, well, it's not going to be a success anymore.
And they're flying out Zero and Naira and whatever.
Yeah, it's just like there's no communication on across the board for anything like tier 1 or tier 2 or S tier, A tier, whatever number system or letter system we're on right now.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like tournaments or
Yeah,
for the esport thing?
No, like sorry, for tournaments. Sorry, there's like a bunch of tier system stuff going through my head. For tournament tiers, like the PGR tier system, like if someone's planning an S tier event, most of the other organizers, they might know the date and like they might have to go through Bear to get the date, but they don't know anything about the event, right? Like nothing going on. You take something that's A tier or B tier, and all of a sudden you can very easily get like 2 or 3 B tiers just happen to fall on the same day because that's when everybody planned it. And short of going through Bear to get the universal tournament calendar, you just like that's just it. You just for some reason maybe we had 3 B tiers in 3 weeks in a row, and like that's not healthy.
To
So-
clarify, the universal calendar is owned and operated by the Smash representatives over at Twitch. So Crimson Blur for Melee and D1 for Smash 4 are the representatives behind that.
I just know Bear has a lot of the information because he's inputting it into Smash GG and he sets up their pages.
Oh yeah, that too, because of his Smash.
So I know most people when they first start planning, Bear is one of their first contact points because he can give them like an open weekend.
Yeah, he's also the easiest to get in contact with for sure.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, why are we looking for open weekends? Like, it should be. I feel like if Smash ever wants to be successful and they ever want to break into that like tier 2, where it's actually like a really big deal, we're gonna have to buckle down and somehow everybody's got to like, not everybody, but we have to have a universal thing, some sort of conglomerate that makes decisions for us. We all just can't be like, I have ideas, well, I have other ideas, whatever, and like just nobody's helping each other.
Well, yeah, but egos. And when it comes to what defines these successes, I mean, we're kind of dragging a little here, but this is amazing discussion. But something that recently happened in relation to what you're talking about, in terms of this like planning.
Are we getting back to
nebulous-
monetary right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get onto that.
We had this event happen a couple weekends ago on Easter weekend called CEO Dreamland, headed by Orlando's precious Jebailey, owner of the CEO gaming series. He made CEO Dreamland as a specialized product for the Smash community to enjoy on its own, an exclusive tournament for them, by them, everything. The numbers that were expected to go, that was revealed in a personal statement that Jebailey just posted recently, was
On Facebook.
he was expecting 2,000 people. So
No. That's not what the statement said. The statement said for the tournament to have been a success, he would have need to have broken 2,000.
okay, so is he not expecting 2,000 or not?
I feel like if you're going to state that the tournament was a success, like you should always be shooting for your successful numbers. So I would imagine
that's true.
His goal
That's
was
true.
2,000.
That's true.
Yeah, so thanks for the lateral. So let's say, for argument's sake, he wanted 2/5 of the community there, of the active community participants in this. Unfortunately, he only got 1,000. So still impressive, 1,000 of the 5 that we're talking about this season.
Oh no! That they had.
I'm
that
gonna
many,
kill myself.
They had that many, including all the other communities too, not just ours.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh,
but, like-
okay, yeah, you're right. 1,000 people for the entire event, and they had about what, 200-300 for Smash 4? Maybe 4? I don't remember. Bottom line, the tournament had Brawlhalla, 64, Melee, and Smash 4, and even with all of those, he only broke over a little of 1,000 from the 2,000 he was kind of budgeting with, planning with, whatever. And he came out with a statement saying that Dreamland will not happen next year, most likely, unless like a gift from God, I guess. And it suffered a $20,000 loss. The only other tournament to publicly say something of that magnitude is Shine 2016, saying they suffered a $30,000 loss.
Just to give you guys a perspective, including all 10 flights and hotels for Japanese players, they lost over a frostbite each of those tournaments. Frostbite from start to finish didn't cost that much, and they lost that much.
Yeah, like, so we're talking about, community, we meet each other, yay, everyone's having fun. But at what cost? Because I am looking at this and I'm kind of like, okay, so most of this community has the understanding of economics of a middle schooler. And these people are sinking in money somewhere. And these events are happening and they're being taken for granted, or the event organizers don't know how to run them positively. And so that's where it's kind of like, well, what defines success, you know? Like, will we ever see anyone make millions off tournaments? Not for now, probably not for a while. But again, like, this is sort of alarming. Like, I think CEO Dreamland suffering a $20,000 loss is the bell tolling for the oversaturation we're currently in.
Well, not only that, but I feel like planning across the board needs to be updated. Because when we planned Frostbite, we said, all right, we want to make sure that we can support a little more than we're used to, which Michigan monthlies to that point, we're going anywhere from 128 to 200. So we figured we can get at least 200. And with the additional hype that we're bringing into it, we'll probably get more. But like everything was like, we're guaranteed 200 people. We'll max out at 500 and we'll hopefully fall somewhere in the middle so we don't suffer huge losses. And that's kind of what happened. And I feel like people aren't doing that. You need to look at your local scene, see what they're bringing in, and if you put in a little extra money, what that effect has on your scene. Now in Frostbite, that was a pretty good thing, but like it was also $10,000 to get those 10 Japanese players out here.
And the other thing too is that Frostbite had an analyst desk, Frostbite had paid commentators, and Frostbite had side events. CEO Dreamland, I believe, had paid commentators. It had no analyst desk. It had no side events, and it had no pop bonus, which Frostbite also didn't have, which is doubly alarming because right now, people, and it's been prophesized by a lot of top players will not go to an event these days unless there's extreme luxuries provided, like flights or hotels, if they're not with a team, right? Like a Captain Zach or a Sam Suar who's been juggled around from SoCal to Louisiana faster than a tennis on a tennis court. And you also have pop bonuses. If a tournament doesn't have a pop bonus, a top player won't show up, bar none. That's the age we live in now. And CEO Dreamland, even without a pop bonus, still lost $20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Imagine if CEO Dreamland had a $10,000 or $15,000 pop bonus that that their sponsor came through with, promised on the basics of like some metrics that, you know, were budgeted for, and it still lost $20,000 on top of that.
Yeah.
Like, that's very alarming, or I'm just crazy. Like,
no, it's alarming that they're even taking losses. Here's the thing, like, what happens if the next CEO takes a loss? How can he even, like, for certainty run these events right now? Like, how can anyone? Like, I'm surprised Shine 2017 is even happening with a $30,000 loss. Like, who put that money up?
Yeah.
Well, from what they stated, there was a corporate credit card that offered everything on a no-interest base. But you're right, you still have to make that up even without interest. 30 grand is pretty hefty. But it looks like, and here's where it's kind of, this is where the X factor comes in, because Shine 2017 already has like 20-something PGR members confirmed. By then, there will be a new PGR, so there's even more drama and stuff to happen. But they put such a good show on last time that you had ESAM all the way to Zero, all the way to Anti tweeting about how good this event was, and now it's the event to be at in New England in August.
Well, to be fair, there's nothing else in Tri-State right now, so they really struck gold there.
Yeah, but Dreamland was supposed to be the event to be at in April, and look where it got. It got $20,000 in debt.
I know, but again, no one had the intensity of like Shine 2017 that Dreamland didn't have the intensity to sign up that Shine 2017 does. Like, Shine 2017 is 4 months away and it already has all these people confirmed.
Yeah, that's true.
Dreamland was a little weird. Dreamland was supposed to be this like gift from Jebailey to us, but I feel like no one embraced it. Sort of how like Vayseth has been saying, no one's embracing Dreamhack to the way we should be. And we can kind of like get into that because like, yeah, does it take $30,000 in debt to get a whole community to want to come to your tournament next year? Because that doesn't seem sustainable to me.
No, yeah, like somebody's life is gonna be ruined. Like, you're throwing these on credit cards. Like, either your organization, if you can't make it up on your next event or whatever, like your organization is gonna be bankrupt, or God forbid somebody's putting it on personal cards and like, there's your credit score and you're ruining your life at this point for a Smash tournament.
For a tournament like
with 300 people.
with 300 people.
All right.
Oh my god, this is crazy.
I don't want to put anybody on blast, but if you guys think Shine and CEO Dreamland are the only organizations and/or TOs and/or people funding tournaments that don't have similar negatives after tournaments, you're crazy. Not mentioning any names, but there are definitely people out there who are in the same situation. They're just not as public about it.
Right. I know of a couple. We're obviously not going to put anybody on blast or bring it up publicly. That's for them to do. But like, you'd be surprised how many people are in debt just from like tournaments.
Let's look, okay? Let's look at the fact that this past Easter weekend, Dreamland had a stream that was down for 6 hours.
On
That
one day
bites.
alone.
When it came back, it had a main stage, so good camera work, and a setup and all that for the stream matches to go on, a really good overlay, blah, 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 blah. That tournament suffered a $20,000 loss, and it had about 300 people, registered to it. People have to be wondering when we look at other tournaments that have production value even just a smidgen higher of that, what they must be incurring, because it's like across the board insanity and also not sustainable. Like I'm saying, like where does it end? Like, do we make people happy? Well, we got to do more side events. Well, if we do more side events, we're not going to be able to do a pop bonus, and if we don't do a pop bonus, top players aren't going to come. So we're now in a very bad positive feedback loop, where you have to keep putting pop bonuses to make top players come, to make people watch your stream, because there's 17 different streamers trying to compete with each other with their 17 respective TOs and their 17 respective communities. Like, it's kind of heading into a very divisive timeline, if I do say so myself, because doing the numbers each week and even doing the PGR in general, all the tournaments that are like okay, the other week, what was that tournament that was happening that iStudying was confirmed for Greninja Saga, and they made like a twit longer, like, oh my god, we need him in Europe because he's going to go to this tournament? Was it Icarus?
It was the Italian tournament.
Okay, I don't think it was Icarus 3, but it was something else.
Was it?
That, like, is this where we are now? Like, where if you take my top player, like, my tournament can't happen anymore? Like, that's kind of scary. Just saying, that's kind of weird to have so much riding on a 17-year-old or a 22-year-old. Like,
there's probably some sort of metaphor to make with like the housing market and a bubble popping.
This is a bubble. This is a Smash 4 bubble.
100% it's a bubble.
Deadass.
Somebody out there will make a better metaphor than I will and relate it better.
There's a bubble bath.
But you can for sure like believe that there is a bubble and that people are going to have to start getting out of the game eventually, because there's not enough money for 17 organizations to exist.
Let's just not even use a metaphor. I have recently, within the last few months, or like since Frame Perfect Series 2, kind of like taken a good look at all this kind of stuff. Even before you brought it up today, Suar, I'm glad you did, but kind of just confirms everything. And I've kind of taken a back seat, and I'm just letting things happen, and I'm not going to be very active from here on out until I find a better solid solution, because right now me adding more tournaments to the scene is not what we need as a community, like, at all. And anybody out there who's trying to like do all these like big tournaments obviously doesn't understand the problem. You should be supporting the other tournaments that are established, not creating your own.
Well, the issue is that they see a VOD of Anti getting a 0 to death on 0 at Big House 5 and it getting 1 billion views and blah, 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 and this is amazing. And they want to do something like that, and that's great. But all the things that go into having Big House, it took 5 Big Houses to get that moment. 5 Big Houses to get that moment, and it wasn't even guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like, you're making gambles each and every event that you hope it's a good event. There have been so many events where people tune out grand finals because they don't care, because it's like 0 versus whoever, and you know he's already going to win. But the fervor that was behind Frostbite 2017's grand finals, it was shaking the entire Smash Twitter sphere. And you couldn't have planned for that. It could have easily just been 0 versus the Buzz. All right, peace. I'm not watching that. Like, you know, that's
give me
crazy.
A little bit more credit. I definitely knew something was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be Sue, to be honest with you, but I knew something was going to happen.
No.
At every tournament, you can always assume something interesting is going to happen. Like, you had Kirihara.
Interesting bad. interesting bad or interesting good, but you never know. You might get a boring bracket. And that
Yeah.
sucks. It's like a boring... You look what happened to Genesis 4. Armada speedrun Mango.
I mean, just give me a little bit more credit. I picked the players I did on purpose because I knew that they would shake things up. I knew Somei would do crazy stuff. I knew Tsu and Shutone would catch everybody with their pants down. The only one who didn't perform to expectations was T, and that's because we got the craziest stupid upset ever, which in its own right was okay in my book because it made Ally do this crazy winners bracket run, which honestly, had Komoda not upset Ally, and Ally would have been in winners, T probably would have made it out into losers, and we would have had a completely different tournament where all the Japanese players were continuing to win, because if Ally wasn't in their way, most of that top 8 probably, or top 16 at least, would have been Japan.
Right, but like you said, there was a random upset that you didn't plan for. That obviously you can't plan for upsets, but like that very easily could have been a really boring upset and could have led to something really dumb.
Right.
And like a couple more.
I mean, he came through in Civil War. You know, T came through, but you know, like I'm not trying to discredit you, Vayseth, but you know, they could have all woken up with food poisoning and been we're not gonna play. You know, like that's scary.
Or even
and that can happen.
Even worse, like the morning of Frostbite or the day before Frostbite or whatever, Salem messages me. He's like, dude, I missed my flight. I don't know if I can make it there. And I was like...
And which happens all the time. Smashers couldn't catch a flight if United dragged them on it. Like, it is so out of control. Like, how many... Like, Allies miss flights, Antis miss flights, False miss flights. Everyone misses flight. Ally missed a flight to the premier storyline event of the year. He missed it to Civil War and had to get, like...
There was a panic moment at Civil War where we were all, like... We didn't know if Ally was going to be able to go because he missed
of Civil War unable to attend.
Yeah, like he missed his flight and he was like, I don't know if I can go anymore. And we're all just like, what? Like how, dude?
Yeah.
So with everything happening, you know, the way it is, Sage did touch upon a very important aspect, which is like the conglomerate stepping in. Because if there's no developer support, there's a conglomerate. But like Nintendo stepping in, how would that look like? Like, how do you think that would look like? Well, what would it need to look like for things to grow and not stagnate and be, like, abandoned entirely if they screw things up?
I mean, like, I'm really lucky that I've been able to be at Tokyo Game Show and all these other things where Nintendo is at. And, like, I've seen their booths, like, most recently at Tokaigi. And I've seen what the future looks like. And I've seen the stages that they had for Smash. I've seen their Splatoon and, like, Link and ARMS setups. And... if they ever got into esports and took it very seriously, they could put on one hell of a show.
But how would they utilize the already established pathways in our community? Would they have Nintendo Gimmer, Nintendo Sage? Would they have Nintendo Bear, Nintendo Vayseth? Like, how do you think, what would your wish list be?
I think not even a wish list, but like if they jump into the game, they're for good or for bad, because we've been built on grassroots for so long, they're doomed to have to pull in community members, whatever that means.
Well, I don't even know if
doomed in the sense that Gimmer's going to have to renounce VGBC and just host tournaments on Nintendo.twitch.tv.
Not even that. It's just like, it's like no matter what, no matter the skill set of people in the Smash community, like they're going to have to at least pull some of them. Because if Nintendo came in and just butted everybody out, there would be a huge backlash from the community.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
But basically, they'll have to at least get a community manager, right? Like Capcom did it with Seth Killian and later Combo Fiend. Like we can make analogs to Capcom becoming more involved with formerly a grassroots scene. Like we literally just saw it happen. There's precedence for it. You have to get community managers that you hire in as part of your company. But like, are Jebailey and Mr. Wizard and all these guys running the Capcom Pro Tour? Like... they're not.
No, but they work directly with them. I'm saying like, so Smash, like Nintendo, no matter what, they're gonna have to work with these established events. Like they're gonna have to work with Big House and Genesis and Evo and CEO, and like no matter what, that's a thing because those events will always happen. And like, God forbid Nintendo.
It makes less sense not to.
Yeah, God forbid Nintendo adds to the saturation, and we're just like. Now there's Nintendo events every month.
Nintendo League.
2GGC events every month. And like Evo CEO and like all this other nonsense.
I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show, but there's definitely also precedence on like the Japanese side for competitive events where they've like sent out cease and desist. So for example, Konami does Yu-Gi-Oh! And like there's a group, I believe they're called ARG, in the States, that were running like their own ban list and like everything else because they thought that Konami's official tournaments were garbage, so they would do their own or whatever, right?
It's kind of like Smoggin and VGC for Pokemon.
Yeah,
Is that what you mean?
well, no,
Kinda?
Smokin's just like a introduce.
Rule set.
Like, yeah, it's just like a community based thing where they do online tournaments or whatever, and like some people prefer those rules or whatever, but it's completely different. What this was literally they were saying your rules are bad. I don't like how you play the game. We're going to change the ban list. We're going to change everything. We're going to play the game how we want to do it, and we're going to have bigger and better tournaments than you. Well, they're the developer, so they hit them with a cease and desist. So if Nintendo comes in here and they put on their own events, and someone's like, I don't like their rule set, I don't like their stage list, they're using items, whatever, and like we're gonna just do this own thing, like they can get hit with a cease and desist. Like that's definitely something in a close parallel that's happened before.
Yeah, Nintendo can literally just kill every tournament if they want to. Like, that's it.
They could. I mean, you are literally streaming their IP on a weekly to monthly basis for income. So they can easily hit you back with anything they want in their legal repertoire.
Yeah, and we can't do anything about it.
But it doesn't make sense to, because as we saw, when they told Evo to not stream Melee, you had an entire internet go against you.
Yeah, and that's true. And basically, all we would want is what Sage mentioned earlier, is like you should get a bunch of people from the community and create this like organization that sort of runs everything, that they do everything, and they can compete on the side with all these other tournaments and stuff that's going on. But at the end of the day, people are going to go where the best and where the best bang for their buck is, to use a cliche. Like, so if you go to this Nintendo event, which has preview stations for all the latest Nintendo games that you can literally get nowhere else, not to mention bigger prize money, bigger stakes, whatever, like no one's going to be able to compete with that, period. So they don't even have to run anybody, like cease and desist anybody. They could just run a better show that literally no one else could run.
It would be interesting if it ever did happen. I would really hope that they would involve the community in some aspect, which I'm sure they would, whether it's just a community manager to deal with that, like, or if they are going to pull like the best people from various organizations and just like make a conglomerate. It's like, all right, you guys are running our events and we'll just provide you with what you need, or whatever it is. Like, there's so many ways that they could do it, but there's also a ton of ways they could screw it up.
Well, all right, if we want like a specific wish list that would be awesome for our community to move it up from a tier 3 to a tier 2, I think what would need to happen is what Sage said earlier, is we need a group of people. Then we would need financial support, not necessarily in the form of prize money, because I don't think pop bonuses is like Japan's style, just in general, from playing various other games in Japan and whatnot. Like having like these huge prize pools just isn't like necessarily their style. But having them be able to put on a big show with all these different setups and these big venues and pay staff and get decent production without the thought of, if we take a loss, our lives will be ruined, like the company will take a loss and learn from it, you know what I mean? Like, it would just be a lot more safe and secure. So we have the community members to help them try to run up the best tournament they can, and the financial backing to run the tournament as they can, and then just like develop from there. Like, that's really all we need is money. We have the people who could put the pieces together. We just need the financial backing to do something that we could all get around.
That pretty much like sums up I think all of our general wish lists of like, we really just need a developer support, not necessarily to do it for us, but to like provide us the ability to do it.
Right, and it's not necessarily just money, because everybody sees how much potential Smash has, especially big companies like Red Bull and whatnot. And if it wasn't for the fact that Nintendo hasn't publicly said that we accept you as an esport and has not given permission to do this, that like big companies like Red Bull, even if they have the financial capabilities, won't jump in for the fact that they're a huge company. They're not going to go after, us, who we make nothing. But if it's a big company like Red Bull, now they have a juicy lawsuit that they can actually take. So big companies aren't even jumping in because we don't have full support.
Yeah, it's very conflicting. Exactly because of those reasons. Other companies that could help us don't. And if they do, it's not official. And if it's not official, then it's hard to really sell those metrics to other sponsors or other teams. So I don't think at the current pace of things, a year from today, we're going to be at a good spot. Even by fall, to be honest with you. But that's just my prediction. I've been right before, I've been wrong. So
assuming things go as they have been going in 2017, I agree with you. But literally, like I said, this game changes week to week. So
Oh yeah, they can get that Nintendo Direct fresh on Twitter in a week with a Smash teaser, and this could all be changed forever.
Yeah, this episode just becomes irrelevant.
But I mean, until then, you can't assume you're gonna win the lottery because it's not looking that way. So I don't know.
I don't think that this episode will ever be irrelevant because I think people need to realize just how much risk everyone's putting on there, whether you're a player, like giving up college or giving up your job to be a player, and like how miserable that is, and like being a TO or streamer is even worse. It's just, whew. I mean, at least when you're a player, you're hopefully flown around the world, so you get to at least go around the world before you realize you're playing a video game for poverty level money and move on in your life. But like for the rest of the community, it's even worse.
Yeah, like you're putting your own financials and everything in there. Like if you're in your mom's basement right now listening and you're like, I want to run a major, don't do that.
All right. That struck way too close to home because I am literally in my mom's basement thinking I want to run a major right now.
Let's go. I mean, the thing is, like Drake said once, like you don't want this life, and like you really don't want a lot of the lives that these people have. Because yeah, it might be exciting, but for all those tweets and Snapchats you see of these top players, like it's all a show. All right, so work on whatever you're doing by yourself, getting whatever future you're trying to get, and like let these things happen and support however you can. But Smash Economics 101 will come to a close with that. I mean, it's looking kind of grim, kind of a bubble bath right now.
We really hope that something will change in the future, but we've been hoping that since the end of last year, since basically Zero Saga was announced, and nothing's happened yet. So I don't know, maybe hopefully we have better things in store for the PGR Volume 3. At least that's what we can hope, you know. If not, maybe Volume 4. If not, maybe we need to rethink a few things.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Smash will probably always exist, and it'll always have people here and there who are able to make the living off of it. Like, we came off like really defeatist about a lot of this, but like there will always be those people. It's just it's never going to be that big unless we like something changes.
But that's the issue, though.
Yeah.
But that's the issue is that there's already too many of those types of people, and people are trying to be like those people.
Right.
So they're taking away from what those people are already getting.
Right. That is definitely a giant issue.
And that if it was static and we had who we had from the beginning going, yes, we would be fine. But the Oasis is slowly fading for sure.
Yeah.
Because there's just not enough for everybody
for
what they want.
The biggest issue is Dreamhack Austin. Why did I now only just find out? As somebody like pretty deeply involved with the community, knowing multiple people who are going there and running it, like Bear and I talk almost on the daily. Like Juggle Rob is going to run Melee, I believe, and like he lives like less than an hour from me, and like we talk pretty frequently, at least every couple weeks. How did I not know how amazing this tournament is? And I know people running the event. Like, has anybody actually looked at their website?
To me, like, I know Dreamhack is somewhat of a household name. I mean, it is, but it's just another $10,000 pot bonus tournament on a bi-weekly, just because of how many there have been. It's not anything special at this point. To me,
their marketing was also really like not known, and because Dreamhack isn't a known name in Smash, like its marketing didn't make its way around the Smash Twitter sphere because nobody was tweeting about it yet.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So I'll just put my friends on blast and say that's the fault of the people that Dreamhack hired to advertise this stuff. Because if you look at Bear, Jebailey, and Robin's tweets about it, like, where has been like the super like push to like bring this here? So let me just drop some facts on you guys. So this tournament started as just a LAN party in a school cafeteria in like 93 or 94. It had 40 people. Their last tournament had over 20,000 people. It has 3 Guinness Book World Records for biggest LAN party, most tournaments ever at one event in a local area at the same time, and most attendees ever at an event, of an esport event. Like, this is a huge deal. Like, Dreamhack's like on the level of Evo, if not bigger. Like, there are YouTubers who like make funny interviews and whatnot. Like, I don't know if you ever seen like the Joe guy, the blonde haired guy who like makes fun of things and he goes to like porn conventions and stuff. He's even gone to Dreamhack and like made fun of nerds because like that's his YouTube channel and stuff. but it's big enough where it even applies to like the mainstream, and mainstream YouTubers and vloggers are going to this event, and none of us seem to know anything about it. It has so many different tournaments. They just started bringing in Street Fighter was the first FGC event that they brought in, I think, in about 2012. And then they brought in Melee with the legendary Hungry Box win over Armada. And now Wii U's in it, and it's going to be in at least 4 of the North American tournaments that they've slated for this year, which is Austin, Atlanta, Montreal, and Denver. And Melee will also be at Dreamhack Summer and Winter, which has been a biannual event in Sweden since its inception, basically, where Melee will also be, but Smash 4 unfortunately will not. But all of these tournaments, 10 in total, if you include Smash 4 and Melee, have $10,000, which means there's $100,000 in prize money available for this over 10 different events if you separate Melee and Smash 4. That's crazy.
Crickets.
Yeah, it's just like no one knew about it. I mean, I had seen the announcement. It was like, that's awesome. And then just like, I guess because it was like, we didn't see tweets about it. I saw like 1 round of retweets, and like, I haven't seen it since.
It's crazy. There's
Smash GG tweets are not marketing.
Yeah.
Linking the registration page is not marketing. Marketing is an active and passive effort at every stage of the timeline before the event, and I mean, it just didn't have it, unfortunately.
I don't even remember how it was announced. Like, did just somebody put out a tweet like, "Hey, you're gonna be here, Smash, cool."
Basically,
on,
yeah. But yeah. Just to go over the website, I'm on Austin's website right now. eSports available: Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, Hearthstone, StarCraft 2, Smash Melee, Smash Wii U, Street Fighter 5. Bring your own computer LAN, 24-hour LAN party, also 24-hour console zone. Then there's dozens of bring your own computer and bring your own console tournaments available. So not even like the official main ones, kind of like how Evo has like Anime Evo or whatever, where games who didn't make the main event, they have everybody kind of organized at Evo. They do the same thing here. And let's see, they even have tabletop gaming. They have a 10K Magic the Gathering tournament, which like plus they have basically a GP. They have all the side events there. They have Pokemon card game there. They have a board game library. They have a Star Wars X-Wing tournament, not to mention cosplay, streaming. They have all these different other crazy things too, like archery tag, the Great Faction War, panels, live music, etc. And this is just like a crazy, amazing tournament. If you're a gamer, there's no reason why you shouldn't be there. Dude, they have NBA 2K, they have Pokken, Rocket League, Guilty Gear. Like, it literally has everything. And why did I just find out about this like this week?
Marketing, man. That's a whole.
Because yeah.
That's a whole nother realm of things that like you just need to do. You need to do great marketing for your event to be successful, and they did not, at least for our community.
Right.
And we got sort of a really incongruent community that's very like fair weather and likes shiny things. So it's a little tough because, you know, first you got to get to Austin, then you got to stay in Austin and attend the event and all that. But people don't have a emotional connection to Dreamhack yet. In Smash 4 at least. Melee somewhat. But in Smash 4, what does Dreamhack mean? To anybody that started in the last 2 years, what does Dreamhack mean? Right? And that's kind of the issue and how you market that. Because Frostbite had stellar marketing, and it meant a lot because it was connected to Japan, which people just oogle over. So it's tricky. I mean, did Dreamhack need to fly out Japan or Europe or PGR top 10? I mean, it's weird. It's just weird.
It's hard to say.
If you're in the Smash community, you need to definitely note these dates. Austin this weekend. If you can still sign up until
I don't have a
April
flight.
26th. So by the time this comes out,
flight. How am I gonna sign up?
Yeah, I was like actually no, this week. All right, at least watch it. At least watch it and pay attention, so that way people can show you just how amazing this tournament actually was. And then Atlanta is the week after Evo in Atlanta, which is kind of, you know, what it is. You know, it's the week after, but still, if you're in that area, if you're in the Southeast area, you can get cheap flights from the Midwest too. Like, then Montreal in September 8th through 10th, and then Denver October 20th through 22nd. I have a feeling these tournaments are going to be huge, and the brand name is just as big as Evo, and we in the Smash community and even in the greater FGC should definitely recognize it and support this, because this is amazing.
Yeah, it'll get there. I think it just needs to have one really successful event for Smash to be like, oh, okay, cool. I'll go there.
There's literally more tournaments with a pop bonus of $10,000 this year than there are top players, practically.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I
but that's
honestly
not
just
the
want to go to
only thing.
DreamHack to get top 8 money. Like, it's very possible because there's so few people going.
But here's the thing: is like we've all proven UGC more than anything has proven that pop bonus doesn't bring in people. Like, so
It brings top players, yeah. It
yeah.
doesn't bring people.
Here's
when you go 0-2, like, you want side events, you want incentives, you want a Shine experience, you want experiences like Frostbite. That's what you want.
This tournament makes Shine look like my local. Like, this is insane how much you can do when you're there.
What were you gonna say, Sage?
well, here's the thing. They said, like, Smash players are so spoiled by, like, Smash exclusive events that, like, side events and stuff are all these things we expect that no multi-game tournament is gonna do. Ever. It's just like they're not gonna fly out players for every game. They're not gonna, they're not gonna give side events. They're not gonna give all these crazy ladder stuff. Like, they might have side areas, but they're not gonna, like, publicly bring out all this stuff and, like, hire people to run it.
Yeah, and investing all that money into, like, a Smash specific event, as we've seen, $20,000 loss, $30,000 loss.
Yeah.
So it's like, unless they make a Utopia and they, I don't know, like, you get a free copy of, like, the Switch release of Smash, you're not gonna get anyone to show up.
Oh yeah, the other thing that
Like-
this tournament does that I wish more did was you pay one fee and your unlimited tournament entries are included. So you can go to literally
Damn.
all of these and all the tournament entries are included with all this. You just play one general admission ticket purchase and that's it.
What a shame, dude. What a shame. People don't even know that they want this.
Dude,
It's so sad.
Pokken has it's a side Saturday tournament and Pokken has $3,000 in the pot.
Dude, I get it. I know they're also having a workshop on how to, like, professionally develop yourself and, like, take care.
Oh my god, why am I not going to this?
There's the shop class.
Oh my
There's
god.
a shop class. They also have, like, a Mother's Day gift wrapping station to, like, wrap gifts early. They have everything. Yeah, no, this event is amazing, but again, marketing and weird Smash community metrics. So how about we close out Smash Economics 101 and go into a run back question, because I actually got to head out.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough.
All right.
I'm very passionate about it. Please support Dreamhack if you can, especially if you're in the Austin area. Austin's an amazing city. Just go and tweet at me and let me know that you're there, and just make me feel better, because I really would love to be there, and I'll definitely be there next time. But yeah, we actually had this run back question last week, but we wanted to wait for you to be here so we can answer this one really quick and kind of get to know everybody, if you don't mind.
Run back.
Okay.
So let's just get
Do you
right
wanna
into
read
it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I can get it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we have this question. It's from at Joliday89 on Twitter. He writes, I watch competitive Smash 4 on a near daily basis, but have not played the game in months. With how involved with tournament setup and other miscellaneous behind-the-scenes activities, I was wondering if you guys still have time to enjoy the game. If so, what is your primary character? Also, what is your secondary, and why is it Cloud? Personal note, I greatly enjoy this game, but I am an older guy in the scene, 28, as you all are, and many times don't have time to sit down and play it with myself. Watching, listening to the podcast and tournament VODs, you guys take so much time to set up and publish is such a great experience for me from the daily, or such a great escape for me from the daily grind of life. Thank you for your contribution to the community, John. Thank you, Joliday, for your question.
Wow, John.
John is
I
John is
believe I
great.
actually have met Joliday as well, over at in NorCal. So really good guy. Thanks for the question. So I guess let's just go in order then, huh? So, Suar, do you play this game regularly?
How am I first? You're the host.
Okay, I do play this game regularly. However,
Yeah.
that was not the case for almost 3 years. This has actually been a 2017 extremely recent, within the past few months, where I've actually been playing this game every day. I played the game when it first came out. I got top 8 at a couple things, and then quickly was outclassed, and then kind of got busy with running tournaments and stopped playing. But recently, I've stopped running tournaments, or stopped doing tournaments, especially in Michigan, and I've been playing a lot more and enjoying it a lot. So my primary character will always forever be King Dedede. Forever. The character's bad.
Oh, I'll wax you.
This character's terrible in this game, but he's the character I still enjoy playing the most. I liked him a lot more in Brawl, obviously. I was pretty critical into discovering a lot of the early tech with that character, so I have a huge personal relationship, and I really, really, really like that character. But if I want to win, I'll probably switch to Rosa or Corrin. But I don't really like Corrin. I don't actually like Cloud at all. I hate characters where it's really hard for me to recover, which is funny because I mentioned Rosa and Corrin. It's hard for them to recover too, but not nearly as bad as Cloud. Just watch ESAM's edgeguarding compilation against Cloud to find out why you should never play Cloud.
All right. I guess I can go next. Do I still have time to play this game? Absolutely not. I play for maybe an hour or two at like 1 to 3 a.m. at the weekly that we run, and that's it. I main Toon Link. I used to play a lot. I was once a Rosalina player, and I was PR ranked in Chicago, and then I started streaming, and that has all gone downhill, including the character tier that I play. So no, I do not get to enjoy this game anymore as much as I would like to. I still like playing it. I just don't have time.
I definitely enjoy playing doubles more than I do singles. Like, me and my buddy, instead of playing against each other, we'll play against 2 level 9 computers for hours, and like we'll just have a blast.
Huh.
That's awesome. Yeah, funnily enough, I actually just started playing again. I haven't seriously competed since Shine 2016 when I got sent to losers by Leet, which is a New England low-tier main specialist. I got arrested on stream twice, and it was like something broke. And then also PG Stats picked up, and so that like took over. So like any free time I had to do that. But I'm at a point now where the PG Stats teams, where it started with 3 people, is now 9, and we have the tools that Giant has created, very magically so. So we have like a database that's able to pull up like any set a player has ever lost in 90 milliseconds. And before we had to do that by hand, by looking up brackets, by making sure a player went to a specific tournament. It was hell. So all that time has been freed up by automation. And I main Sheik, and I actually just started attending my local here in Connecticut. And it's one of 2. I'm going to the one near my house, which is like super not known. It's actually run by Paper Fairy, who's like this really nice FGC head. And about 20-ish people go every Sunday. I just went on Sunday and won the whole thing. So it's just like this but no one notable's there. So it's like kind of like I'm literally taking money from like candy from a baby. I mean, people are great, not to like knock anybody, but no one PR'd in the state goes to the local because it's not near them. So
Right.
I literally have this free local. That's really fun because it's just fun to compete again, teach people. Like I got into like this like 20-minute, Mewtwo lesson with somebody, like teaching them how to like use Nair and how to like, come out of air dodge with fair, because Mewtwo has ridiculous fair. But long story short, I main Sheik and I secondary Cloud, ironically, or Lucina. But no, I never pull them out in tournaments, seriously. But just Sheik main, been playing for 2 years, and I have time now, but I didn't for almost a year. It's tough.
Yeah.
The more you get involved, I mean, if you look at it, someone made a tweet earlier, like, I think it was Champ. He was like, what group of Smash community figures has the highest talent pool among them? Would it be the casters, the TOs, the streamers, or the YouTube content creators?
The TOs.
Or whatever, Twitch or whatever. And it's like,
TO's not
yeah,
close.
all of them. I think it'd be the commentators for sure.
No, it's TO's not close. The reason why it's TO's not close is because we have QB, Earth, and Umeki. So
All right.
never mind.
All right.
Yeah, you guys literally
Hold on.
cheated.
like it's in Japan, like all the streamers / community members are also very good at the game. So that's
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's just US only on this one.
Okay,
Yeah.
then it's a good fight. I still think TO.
Then it's-
No, it's definitely commentators.
No, it's streamers, man. Me and
Oh,
Gimmer,
anyways,
are gonna
anyways.
wash
True.
everyone.
Okay. Well, the thing is that the point is everybody that is in those fields by consequence plays less. I mean, they never get top 16 at a tier, S tier event, and it's kind of like what you have to do. I mean, how can you even compete that late if you are having to commentate that set, you know? So it's kind of, it is what it is, but people kind of like find their own, niche. So
Yeah. I think the last tournament that I entered and did not do any work at besides like some minor volunteer stuff was Big House 5. And that was when Unrivaled Tournaments was born. And then I don't know if I've ever been at an event since then that I haven't worked.
Yeah, I mean, I also do play 5 hours of Wi-Fi a week, so I stay pretty fresh.
I have not
I've been
Wi-Fi'd
playing-
in, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm probably like top 3 Sheik Wi-Fi mains because Sheik is like mid-tier in Wi-Fi. But I've gotten used to her timing. I can perfect pivot everything and like use her to the best degree possible, like it's offline.
I actually,
it's sad, really.
I actually forgot. I pretty much main all heavy characters because I'm a heavy character. But yeah, Bowser. I forgot. I have a super.
Bowser's great.
Yeah.
Bowser's like Bowser's kind of crazy. But yeah,
I like the
that'll do it,
grapplers.
though.
So I forgot to mention those. So
Yeah.
And DK, yeah.
Yeah. Just main DK, man.
I think you can cut us out. It's a nice little question to end a very somber doomsday podcast.
Yeah. We still do like this game.
no, I do actually. Before I wasn't so optimistic about it, but lately I've been playing and having fun with friends the way the game has been designed, and it's been great. It's been a great experience. Just like the set count.
I always end like a best of 5 that I play my practice partners with on Hyrule. It's just like you can't be upset with what happens on Hyrule, so we just go there because it's like you can't be salty about whatever happens. Like I've teched Hyrule stage walls at like 450% before.
Nice.
Like, it's so ridiculous.
Nice. I even played Smash Tour the other day, but we're not going to talk
Gross.
about that. Dude, that game's awesome. Shut up. All right, just run us
No,
out
it's
of here,
not.
Sage. Tell the
Stop.
people where to go
All right.
at us.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in each week again. If you want to hit us up with any runback questions, we actually have a pretty good bank starting to build here. So maybe if you guys can definitely bring us up some more questions, we might be able to do an all runback episode one week when we get a little slow. So definitely hit us up there. You can find us on Twitter at @thesetcount, or you can send us your emails at thesetcount@gmail.com. Both are great places for your runback questions. We get at both of them pretty much daily. I think all 3 of us have notifications for them.
Yeah, for sure.
So they'll go in.
Yeah, no, keep them coming.
They'll go into our database. But again, thank you so much for listening each week and for supporting us. And of course, once the episodes drop, definitely retweet it, share it, help us grow even further.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Trent eSports has been placed on a temporary embargo from the runback. And it's not even because he's asking too many, but it's because he released a counter PGR for
What?
this season.
Okay.
We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to bring that up. But Trent is the hero. You should follow Trent and read his blog. He has a lot of very interesting opinions and a lot of things that a lot of people don't have the balls to say, including us. So
Trent's a maniac, but we
Trent's a
love him.
savage, dude.
Dude, I love it.
All right,
But yeah, this has been Vayseth,
this has been Suar from Panda Global.
And this has been Sage from Unrivaled Tournaments.
and we will catch you all next week.
Come